Hello everyone, good morning. This is Sharon from Everything Beautiful. Today I'll be showing you how to do an off-the-shoulder princess line dress. Okay, so off-the-shoulder means that you cut it 5 inches. I'll be using 5 inches from the shoulder. So I know this can be pretty challenging for some people, especially beginners. So off the shoulder means that it will fall somewhere across the top of the upper part of your chest here. Now the mind sometimes will tell us, will say, how do you do this? So I have the paper here to make it seem as if this is the top of the dress. So when I finish, I just take it away. So this is the 5 inches, and you know the shoulder would be up here. Okay, this would be the top of the dress. But because it's an off the shoulder, we're going to start 5 inches from the shoulder line. Yes, as we were saying, we start 5 inches from the shoulder line. So I will now measure the shoulder as if it's the top of the blouse, okay? And that is my measurement. So if it is 14, you'll be using half here. Then I come down 4 inches, okay? And this would be my bust line, okay? So it is 4 inches from here, and that would be my bust line. I also use that bust line to measure off the corner of my bust, and I mark that right here. I come down 2 inches, and that is my dark line. From the top here, I'm using 10 inches for the blouse because the other 5 would be in the upper part of the garment. Okay, so 5 up there and 10 from across the chest here. That is would give me my waist measurement. I now divide my waist measurement into 4, and I mark it. I also add 1 inch for my dart allowance. I now come down 7 inches or 8 inches or 9 inches depending on the size of your hip. So I'm using 7 inches from my waist from my waist to my hip. I now divide my hip measurement into 4 and draw this line, and that is my hip line. And this hip line would continue to the hemline of the dress. I hope you understand those steps. I now draw the center dart of my line using my bust to bust measurement, and that is what it is on the waistline and on the bust line, on the dart line, to the hip line and to the hemline. And the reason for the center of the dart is because we'll be making a princess line. I now add my dart. Remember, I placed 1 inch here for my dart. So now I had half on this side and half on this side and shape my dart down to my hip line. I know I want a little definition there in the center of my dress. So what I did, I marked from the top here down. It can be 2 inches, it can be 1 inch, and I'll show you what it's looking like. So another thing is that I'm only using half of the front to cut because I don't have enough fabric. So that is what it's looking like, and it's shaped up to this line. So that is what it's looking like. This other part is for the back, so let me remove it out of the way. So that is what it is, okay? For the allowance, I add 1 inch, and for the princess line, I also add another inch. Now, if you had done this on pattern paper, it would be different. You know, you could cut through the dart and then add the ½ inch to the dart. But in this case, we're actually doing it freehand on the fabric. So when I cut through this, it's going to take away from the waistline and from the hip and everywhere. So I have to add another inch for it. So I'll show you. Also, I have curved into the arm area here for the princess line cut, and it's not too deep, you know. I just barely shape it. All right. I will also just cut the other part of the dart here. I will now cut through the side. As you can see, and I will cut my arm. so this is the dart area, as you can see. All right, but remember we have an inch over here for here, so it won't be tight. Okay, you want to ensure that when you're stitching you have notches or marks there so that everything lines up. Sometimes when you get to the corner here, it can be a little bit difficult because it's more on a curve. All right, but you want everything to be lined up. All right. Yes, yeah, so I've got the princess line dress and you saw what I did. So now I have joined the seams, okay? And I'm only working on half the front and half the back, but you will have an entire front, okay? So I joined the seams. The next step is to cut the facing, and I did an all-in-one facing, and I did a video on how to do facing application. So you're going to press on, pell on to your facing, then you're going to be stitching it to your neckline. After stitching it to your neckline, you will then give it an edge stitch. After giving it to the edge stitch, you will now join the sides, okay, front and back, and then after that you will add your zipper to the back, and this is what the back looks like. So I've creased it off for the zipper, as you can see, and here's that little sink I told you about, that ½ inch that I took in. There it is. And so that is how. Also, if you're going to be using straps while putting on the facing, then you would also put in your straps at the same time. And remember, we took 5 inches down from the shoulder, so 5 to the front and say 5 to the back. That would make it 10. So you want to use that to guide you as to how long the strap is going to be. So you probably can add another 3 or so inches to that. So thank you for watching, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe.